starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. Our First Alert Weather headlines. We got some dry weather that we're going to be talking about here over the next couple of days. Let's get to those weather headlines and we'll show you here what we're going to be dealing with later this week. A front that's going to be bringing some warmer conditions later on in the week, and then another drop in, actually we're going to have some warmer temperatures. Then we're going to have a drop in temperatures later on this week, tracking a tropical disturbance, and also looks like it's going to be a dry front that's going to be moving our way as we get towards the weekend. Right now, as we check out the temperature, 76 degrees in Birmingham, 79 in Tuscaloosa, Coleman at 68, 75 for Columbiana, and a mostly clear sky. Very dry conditions. Lovely sunset view from Centerville this evening. That sunset time right around 6:29, and a beautiful view there as these days get shorter. Dry tonight, temperatures in the 60s. Again, the one thing is the temperature changes that we'll be tracking here over the next couple days. And I mentioned that front later on this week, late week cold front. Then as temperatures start to rise into the 80s for the afternoon highs, by the time we get to Friday and Saturday, we'll see another drop in temperatures. Daytime highs in the 70s, overnight lows back in the 40s as we go into our weekend. All right, let's jump over to tropical weather, of course. All attention's on Florida and the Carolinas and the eastern U.S., where Ian, of course, had big-time impacts throughout last week. That system is moving on out. There's still some rain that parts of New England continue to feel some of the impacts from that system wrapping in, even down into the mid-Atlantic region. Ian's going to move on out. Not worried about that redeveloping into a hurricane or anything like that at this point, but we are tracking a couple tropical disturbances. We have tropical disturbance over the far eastern Atlantic with a better chance of organization. Lauren talked about this last night and mentioned, this one may develop. It looks like it's going to track off to the north. Looking at another disturbance that could move into the Caribbean, and we still think this is, unlike Ian, this is going to stay to the south, down into the lower latitudes, track over towards Central America. We look at some of the models with this, and a lot of the model guidance still points at this taking more of a westerly track here over the next couple of days. Here's a look at some of those model plots. This is the ensembles, and you can see there. Let me go back over to Lauren. Are we on the same remote here? Let me see. There we go. You can see there the model tracking that system to the west and across the Caribbean and back in towards Central America over the next several days. A couple of outlying models show maybe a track to the north, but we're thinking here that this is going to stay more on to the west direction here over the next several days. So not a concern for the Gulf of Mexico at this point. We'll keep an eye on it as we track that system here as it moves to the west, and at this point it looks like things finally thankfully for folks there across Florida, as the cleanup continues, thankfully we're going to be dealing with down across Florida some nice weather, at least for a change, while the recovery, the cleanup happens there, which is going to take quite some time. And no concerns if you're traveling down the Gulf Coast. I believe we have the Shrimp Festival coming up. Looks like some dry conditions expected there. Let's head over to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Lauren, of course, busy week last week with Ian, and with all this dry weather, a great opportunity to check out what's happening in the night sky. Some fantastic fall weather around here. I mean, you kind of hate to really talk a lot about how nice it is. You sort of feel, for all these areas, it's been dealing with some active weather, but for us, the it's really been just picture perfect.
It really has, and I know what you mean. It almost feels like we're rubbing it in people's faces, but we know we can have our own share of bad weather around here in Alabama, so when we get good weather, we certainly want to embrace it, and especially this time of the year, fall, beautiful views of the night sky. So the sun just set here in Birmingham, and tomorrow morning it will rise again around 6:43 a.m. Of course, we're getting into that time of the year where the days are getting shorter, so once we get into the winter months, you may need to start taking those vitamin D supplements, but hey, we got plenty of vitamin D outside, and once that sun sets, then we'll get plenty of that vitamin night sky. So as we look at the stargazing forecast this week, you should be able to see 3 planets. With this dry air in place, low humidity, it makes for beautiful views of the night sky in all of its glory. So Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are going to be visible this week. If you want to see Mars, it's likely after midnight when it looks best, highest in the sky, and then Jupiter really all night long. Saturn, the best views are going to be after sunset. And And as far as the moon phase right now, we're in the waxing gibbous phase. That also means translation, we're moving away from that first quarter phase. And so right now the moon is about 60% illuminated. I don't know about you all, but just the views of the moon the past few nights have been so good with that dry air in place, not a cloud in the sky to hinder that. And really good views right now around sunset is when you should be able to see the moon really well earlier on in the evenings. And then it is going to be headed towards that full moon phase, which is later this week. And that's actually going to be on Sunday, the October full moon, which is known as the hunter's moon. And it's called that because this is around that time of the year when hunting season begins. The September full moon, if you don't remember, was called the corn or harvest moon. And that typically is going to mark, well, that fall harvest. And then right after that, you get that fall hunting season underway. But another great thing you can see in the night sky this week is the space station. There will actually be two opportunities to view it. Right now I'm showing you the first one, which is going to be on Wednesday night. This is one of the nights that it's going to be highest in the sky and in the sky for the longest. So it will appear to the northwest at around 7:46 p.m. Wednesday night, and then will disappear to the southeast around 7:51 p.m. So in the night sky, roughly about 6 minutes or so, 5-6 minutes or so. But the best part is you're not going to have any clouds around, so you're going to be getting those beautiful views of it. And then the one on Thursday night will actually be a little closer to sunset. So Wes, we have a lot of great opportunities here in the next several days to view the night sky, and helps that we don't have any rain in the forecast.
Yeah, very dry setup out there with the low humidities. It just feels incredible. Big drops in temperatures at night. And again, as I mentioned, one of the next big things we'll talk about is that front later on in the week and how that will have an impact on temperatures. Just want to show you here in the tropics. Again, this is that model that I showed. I sent this out on my Twitter feed. Right now, this is not a depression. The one that's moving across the Caribbean is being labeled Invest 91L. What's an invest all about? I mean, we're not talking about investing your money here. We're talking about an area in the tropics that we're keeping a close watch on. We see this a lot during the hurricane season. Well, Matt Daniel is going to break that down for us. That's coming up right here on First Alert Weather Extra. Also, we're going to show you the full 7-day forecast. This dry fall weather. October is typically our driest month of the year on average. Any changes on the horizon? We're going to look on out there. A lot of folks asking any rain. I know we're planting fall gardens. We're going to talk about that and the travel forecast as we continue right here on First Alert Weather Extra.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
And being another set of eyes looking out for your kids and your family.
Getting to the bottom of health and billing issues that may be hidden in the fine print.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home.
WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. In your community, giving you a deeper perspective with the largest team dedicated to you. Showing new stories from overnight, helping you get through your day. With First Alert Weather and traffic, getting to the point, not wasting your time. These are your mornings. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When moments turn severe, how do you find clarity?
This is your First Alert from the WBRC Fox 6 weather team. We're with you as we prepare for this threat.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert wherever you are. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert weather team. Live, new, and on your side, beginning at 9 p.m. In a day filled with clutter and noise, WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else. With new updates, live and on the scene, answers for your money and your livelihood, with 6 on Your Side investigates. And your first alert for the hours and days ahead with the WBRC First Alert Weather Team. On your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10. On your side.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Well, we've been talking a lot about Hurricane Ian, but we can't forget about Hurricane Fiona. And President Joe Biden was actually in Puerto Rico today surveying the damage from Fiona. Tens of thousands of people remain without power 2 weeks after the storm hit. President Biden has pledged the U.S. government will not abandon Puerto Rico as it starts to rebuild again 5 years after Hurricane Maria devastated the island.
We have to do more. We have to ensure that when the next hurricane strikes, Puerto Rico is ready. Today, I'm announcing more than $60 million in funding to help coastal areas in Puerto Rico become better prepared for the storm.
And the estimates right now as far as how much damage has been caused by just Fiona alone has been in excess of $3 billion in damage. But of course, those evaluations are ongoing. And then now we turn to the latest from Hurricane Ian and the impacts it had across the U.S. The president will also visit Florida on Wednesday to see the damage and destruction Hurricane Ian caused. At this hour, we know Hurricane Ian has killed more than 100 people since making landfall last week as a Category 4 hurricane. Ian decimated coastal towns, flooded inland cities, and completely cut off island communities. Leaders in Southwest Florida saying it's clear to see the road to recovery from the storm will be a long and painful one, while search and rescue efforts are still ongoing. The Lee County Sheriff talked about the rescues and what will happen if people try and loot homes.
There's nothing left. I don't know. I am optimistic. It's heartbreaking for all those families, for all those businesses. That's why I'm very sad.
And unfortunately, power outages are still hindering recovery efforts. Florida Power and Light says they are working around the clock and hope to have most of the power back on by the end of the week. But if you're looking to help out, Gray TV and the Salvation Army are teaming up to help Hurricane Ian victims. 100% of donations are used to support relief efforts. If you are able to give, you can do so a couple of different ways. Visit the website on your screen if you would like to contribute. You can also text STORM to 51555. So we have been very much so focused on Ian and Fiona, but hurricane season isn't over yet. And as Wes was hinting earlier, we have a couple new areas to watch out in the Atlantic Basin. We check in with meteorologist Matt Daniel for an explanation on what an invest is.
We are now in the month of October, which means we have 2 months to go before the Atlantic hurricane season officially comes to an end. And I've had some people ask me questions when it comes to the tropics. They may have seen a label like this where it says Invest AL91, and they're wondering, what is that? Why do we call some of these tropical waves out in the Atlantic an invest? Well, let me explain. So invest is sort of short for investigation, which means we're just curious about something. So it could be a tropical wave, an area of low pressure, maybe some clusters of showers and storms, or where we think they have the potential to develop. Perhaps weather models are indicating future development. Maybe the waters are warm, the shear's low, and it looks like it's possible to form. So what happens is the forecast center, depending on where you're located at, for us here, the National Hurricane Center, or maybe the Joint Typhoon Warning Center out in the Western Pacific, they look at those areas of low pressure and become interested, and they want to collect information, data, so it can go into those weather models to give us a better idea on the track and location of the storm and where it could go and the intensity. So it just gives us a way to get those forecasts and even look at spaghetti plots when they initialize it. So each area of interest is going to be numbered, and those numbers are going to be 90 through 99. Once it's 99, it goes back to 90 and just keeps cycling back and forth up until it just goes back again. So the letter after that number actually tells you where that tropical wave is located, what ocean it's in. So for instance, if you see an L after the 90s, that means it's located in the Atlantic. If there's a W, it means it's in the Western Pacific. If it's an E, the Eastern Pacific, and a C, it's in the Central Pacific. So here's an example. In the Atlantic, these are the numbers we're going to see with any tropical wave that forms, and you're going to have many of these during the hurricane season. We got 90L, 91L, 92L, all the way to 99L. And in the Eastern Pacific, instead of using an L, they use an E to show where that tropical wave's located. And this is an example on that tropical wave out that could be moving to the Caribbean later on this week. And this is just one model run, but this is what the information we can get. When you get that tropical information and they make it an invest, you get these plots. So this plot right over here is showing how intense it could become over the next several days, over the next 5 or 6 days. So notice a lot of the models show it perhaps becoming a tropical storm. One random model has it becoming a hurricane. Few models show not much happening at all. Then it can also indicate where it could travel. So you see those spaghetti plots. You've seen these before, probably on television or on social media. Little individual lines showing potential tracks of where that system can go. And of course, we get those updates 4 times a day in the morning hours, into the afternoon, evening, and overnight. So it just gives us ideas so we can track those lows, get that information, put into our weather models, and have a better idea on the track and location of those storms. It's called science, and it's the best way for us to be able to investigate and track these tropical systems.
Ayo, investigate. See, all makes sense now. Coming up, we'll try to make sense of this really bone dry, quiet forecast across central Alabama. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt gives us a look at the next cold front, and then I'll take you beyond the 7-day. We'll be right back.
Remodeling a shower or bath can be tricky with gas prices up and tight monthly budgets. Cost is a real concern, but West Shore Home is helping homeowners get the shower bath they need right now. I'm joined by Kirsten from West Shore Home. And Kirsten, tell us, how is West Shore making bath remodeling affordable?
So Joe, for folks who want to get their bath or shower project done right now, we have a very special offer. We know that monthly budgets are a little bit tight right now, which is why we wanted to make this offer available to everyone. If they give us a call, we have 18 months of no payments and no interest financing. That means they can get their shower or bath done now and not have to make a payment for 18 full months.
So you're saying people can get their new shower bath installed right now and not have to worry about making any payments or paying any interest until 2024. That's really helpful.
Definitely. People love this plan because it allows them to be flexible with their finances.
Can we see some projects you've done recently?
Absolutely. So here's one where the homeowner wanted to replace their old fiberglass shower with something more new and modern. So we replaced it with a beautiful marble style shower with an easy low step entry and a beautiful shower door.
That is amazing. Perfect combination of safety and beauty.
It definitely is. So let's take a look at another one. These homeowners were struggling with mold and mildew from their old tile. They were tired of scrubbing. We were able to give them this beautiful new shower that is so much easier to clean. You can get a new shower or bath just like this when you call right now, and you won't have any interest or payments until 2024.
Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, do not put off that shower or bath project any longer. West Shore Home is making it affordable to take care of that bath project right now. West Shore Home is extending this offer for 1 week only. Free installation on all shower and bath projects. And for a limited time, they're doing 18 months of flexible financing. That's no payments and no interest until early 2024. This is an offer you don't want to miss. Call the shower and bath experts at West Shore Home now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra, and this picture tells a story. Yeah, we could use some rain. Check out Nakalula Falls here. Lynn Burrell sharing that, and just a little bit of a fall there happening. But speaking of fall, you can see the colors there showing up with a lot of the vegetation. I think the dry weather is also having a factor as well. I was out there today. I just cleaned up leaves last week. The yard's covered again, and everything's just so dry. You can really tell the grass is dry. Make sure next few days you water. The wind, when we've had this constant breeze out of the north with Ian passing by, and it's almost like you got a hairdryer out there on the yard and on everything. It just pulls that moisture away. So when you have the wind on top of the low humidities, that's also helping to draw a lot of that moisture off the vegetation out there. 74 degrees right now in Oak Grove, and look at the glow in the sky over the Magic City right now. 76, winds out of the north-northwest at 9 miles per hour, but the view's just incredible out there. 66 degrees, nice cool down already in Jasper, but of course not a drop of rain around here, not a drop of rain across Alabama, the entire state, and even off to the west of us. We still have that breeze out of the north. We can feel it here around Anniston, Talladega. Nice little breeze. Weather was perfect for the race yesterday. 8 mile per hour wind out in the north there at Hamilton, Haleyville, and again tomorrow we do it all over again. We're going to have dry conditions again. I mentioned this evening, a clear sky, and that temperature by 9 o'clock cooling off into the 60s. Very comfortable out there. Probably won't need a pullover through 8, 9 o'clock tonight. In the morning, though, it's going to be a little chilly out there. We'll have those 50s and even some 40s showing up. This is a look at the forecast low temperatures for early in the day. Close to 50 Hamilton, Coleman, showing some 40s for places like Anniston, Jacksonville, Piedmont Center, and back over towards Gaston and Rainbow City in the morning. Looks like Clanton and Rockford in the low 50s. But again, a cool start. Nice warm up during the afternoon. As we look at the next 24 hours here, we start off with those cool temperatures, mostly sunny. Notice that wind showing a light easterly breeze through mid-morning, and then the wind picking up out of the north to northwest again in the afternoon. A lot of areas will only top out in the upper 70s. We'll get close to 80 degrees during the afternoon. This is a very useful product that we have here in the First Alert Weather Center. We don't see this often, but of course we get in the dry weather, we do break this out. This is the smoke index, and we've had a lot of reports, if you've tuned in on the news, where we've had some of those fires in the area. This model uses hotspot data where we have some of those contained fires. Using satellite data can pick that up and actually forecast where we could see some of that smoke travel downstream. And one thing I want to point out is looking at some of the model data, we're seeing there's a controlled burn, or actually a fire that's contained that's happening, not a controlled burn, but it was a wildfire that's now contained over southern Randolph County. That's what we're seeing out there. You know, I mentioned with cigarette butts and just anything dealing with fire, you want to play it extra safe. Avoid burning, but the fire can certainly get out of hand in a hurry with everything being so dry and crispy at the moment. As we get to the next 24 hours, though, I just wanted to point out where we have, you can kind of keep an eye on where some of these fires have been happening, and you can see tomorrow the model brings some of that smoke back in across parts of Talladega County and into Coosa County. So you step outside in these areas, just want to give you the first alert tomorrow. You may notice something's burning somewhere. Well, it may be because of that fire that's downstream there. You can see some of the model data bringing that in from the east. But just to show you, it's going to be a beautiful day. Again, very dry. The weed pollen levels in the medium category, it's ragweed season, and that's still a big factor. Also some grass pollen levels, but with it being so dry, a lot of plants out there could use a drink of water. Coleman County Fair coming up. It's going to be perfect fair weather happening in Coleman County. 63 degrees there later in the evening. Thursday also we have the Barber Vintage Festival. This is going to be over in Leeds, and it looks like more beautiful weather during the day for Thursday. Again, I mentioned those daytime temperatures a little bit warmer. We'll see more 80s next few days during the afternoon, and then the weekend we see a drop in temperatures. And speaking of weekend, Oak Grove in Talladega County, we got the Fall Festival coming up for this weekend. Looking at lots of sunshine on that 7-day forecast, and yeah, right now keeping it dry. Notice Saturday and Sunday went a little bit cooler. We go from 84 Friday to cooler days. Football, tailgating this weekend, some chilly mornings. Looks like those 40s will be more widespread into early on Sunday. And I want to head over to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Lauren, I was checking a few moments ago, parts of the Dakotas, the northern states, they're calling for a hard freeze, the first hard freeze of the season. That's the kind of cold air that's going to be moving into the country later on this week.
That is hard to believe. I'm feeling this fall weather, but the Dakotas can keep the freezing temperatures. We aren't quite ready to do a snow forecast yet. So what we are ready for is some rain, though. Some good old-fashioned rain. I hate to break it to you, but beyond the 7-day, we are still not seeing much in the way of any rainfall. So what I'm showing you here is the precipitation outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. This is looking 8 to 14 days from now. So this is going out as far as 2 weeks from now, which is Monday, October 17th. Not looking great, folks. It still looks like we're going to be seeing below average precipitation. Now, the thing of the matter is, it's October. This is one of the driest months in the year in central Alabama. So it being dry isn't unusual, and we're not quite at drought conditions yet, but this is certainly something we want to be mindful of and hope, okay, in a couple weeks, can we get a pattern change? So let's look beyond the 7-day, looking at our American model here, showing us when maybe we could see some rain. Well, here we go into next Thursday, October 13th. It's like, okay, still looking dry. Go ahead a little bit farther in time here. We're going into, 2 weeks from now, next Monday. Still nothing, still no green across central Alabama. But look what happens as we get maybe into the following Wednesday. We're talking October 19th. Oh, finally, looks like maybe we could get a front in here. Maybe. This is 2 weeks from now. Is this forecast anywhere near accurate yet? No, the forecast can and will change, but this is the one little glimmer of hope we have. The next big thing way down the road. May just end up being the next little thing. But notice too, also hinting, okay, maybe we could see some activity in the Gulf of Mexico. Hurricane season not over until November 30th. So there's still plenty of time for this to change. But we'll just give you that first alert for way in the distant future. Maybe we could see some rain in 2 weeks. Maybe. Keep your fingers crossed. In the meantime, as far as that temperature outlook, looks pretty seasonable here in central Alabama for October over the next 8 to 14 days. So let's look at those low temperatures into next week. I think we're going to be seeing, Wes was mentioning that next big thing, the cold front coming in. That's going to put us into the 40s early next week, and then maybe even another shot of 40s. So getting into that cool fall feel in the air. Now, as far as temperatures, I know we're like, okay, it's October. Are we done with 90s? You know, a few years ago, we had some record-breaking 90s right before COVID rolled around, but it still looks like we're going to be seeing some comfortable seasonable temperatures, maybe even below average temperatures in the days ahead, Wes. So I know we are certainly looking forward to this beautiful fall weather that we have been seeing. But coming up after First Alert Weather Extra wraps up here, we have another shot of not just that weekend, but the beach forecast, mountain forecast. We check in with Mickey Ferguson. We'll be right back.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
These are your mornings, and Good Day Alabama is built to start them right. The only station staying local on all platforms all morning long. Prepare for a good day. Prepare with Good Day Alabama.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
How events nationwide are affecting you here at home.
WBRC Fox 6 is always here on your side, ready to help. This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
In a season of constant change, when you need to know first, when you need to prepare, only one team gives you the first alert. A trusted team staying ahead of what's next in your neighborhood. Stay alert. Stay with the First Alert Weather Team.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
Being another set of eyes looking out for your kids and your family.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
Live, new, and on your side. Beginning at 9 p.m., WBRC Fox 6 News breaks down what you need to know before anyone else on your favorite platforms every night. WBRC Fox 6 News at 9 and 10. On your side.
When 6 on Your Side investigates, the issues that directly impact you matter most to us.
That's why we're getting answers on rising prices and how you can save some money.
This is why 6 on Your Side investigates.
How will the weather impact your roads? The First Alert Weather app has live traffic updates and road conditions for a safer commute. This is why we First Alert.
WBRC Fox 6 News. On your side.
All right, let's spend a little time checking out the beach forecast. Down at the Gulf Coast, we have a moderate rip current threat, so things are back down to pretty much normal there on the Gulf Coast. Check out the water temperatures, really cooled off. We're down into the mid-70s. Just a few months ago, it was in the mid-80s, so a little bit cooler water to get in. And UV index, if you're headed on down, it's a beautiful time of the year to go down there. My parents love to go down. In fact, Mac and Cheryl are down there right now. We have a high UV index, parents and whoever else is going. So sunblock, take about 20 minutes to get a sunburn, so pretty quickly. And your Gulf Coast radar, future radar forecast looks pretty quiet. We get into Wednesday, we're still looking at highs in the upper 70s to low 80s, and that goes for Gulf Shores, Pensacola, Destin, all the way to Panama City, and even Gulfport, Mississippi looking pretty nice this week. And it could get even cooler as we get closer into the weekend, but you can see those temperatures are moderating into the upper 70s to low 80s pretty much all work week long. But if you're at the beach, I guess it's not a work week though, is it? Let's check out the 7-day forecast, and here you go with mostly sunny skies, big long stretch of nice weather. You can see highs this week into the 80s, but it cools off a little bit as we get into the low 80s to upper 70s by Saturday and Sunday. Overnight lows off into the 60s. Now, if the beach ain't your thing and you're headed to the mountains, your Smoky Mountain forecast
looks pretty nice as well. We're seeing highs just in the mid to upper 70s, but look at the weekend. Cooling off into the mid 60s for both Saturday and Sunday. Several overnight lows into the 40s. So yeah, nice little fire crackling in the fireplace for the mountains. Should be nice. So wherever you're going, if you're just staying put or going to the beach, going to the mountains, you've got weather on the go through our First Alert weather app, and snap a picture. We can share it right here on Weather Extra.
Certainly this weather is great for the beach or the mountain, and hey, not too shabby if you're a gopher tortoise. Great news for wildlife in Alabama. The Birmingham Zoo announced the release of 98 gopher tortoises back into their natural habitat. The tortoises were released last month on state lands down in Covington County in South Alabama. The gopher tortoise is considered a keystone species because more than 360 different mammals, reptiles, amphibians, insects, and even birds depend on gopher tortoise burrows for their survival. So we're so glad to see them back in the wild. I know if I were a gopher tortoise, I'd be enjoying this weather. And as a human, Homo sapien, I too am enjoying this weather. So let's look at that 7-day forecast over the next few days. We're still going to see temperatures hanging out right around 80 degrees in the afternoon, low humidity, plenty of sunshine. Can't beat it. Yes, we could use a little rain, but October is dry. It is what it is. We should be seeing temperatures getting down widespread back into the 40s by Sunday. Maybe just a few passing clouds with that front coming through on Friday and Saturday. But Wes will have the latest on your forecast tonight coming up on First at 9. I'm First Alert meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Have a safe and happy Monday evening.